Safely Home, a new service for needy cats and dogs from the BBC's Southern Counties website.
Hi, I'm Rodney. I'm a really lovely chap. Staff here have become very attached to me. I really don't like it in kennels, so I'm desperate to buy my new home soon.
We've got loads of needy dogs and cats like Rodney on our website, just looking for a new home. Have a browse, and you might find your next best friend.
bbc.co.uk/Southern Counties. You're just a click away from your essential guide to life in Sussex and Surrey.
Absolutely fabulous. Good evening and welcome to BBC Southern Counties Radio Internet Hour from 9 until 10 on a Saturday night. Alison Ferns and Tommy Boyd situate themselves in separate studios so that we can each get to a PC. Are you sorted down at your end, Fernsey? Hello, hello? Nope, not a peak. Oh, strange. Okay, well, she'll have a twiddle with her knobs, and if we can get her sorted, why doesn't she come in here so that we can establish that she exists as a human being? Hello there, dear.
Hello, there's a slight problem.
Well,
I can't hear you.
okay.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Shut your cake hole.
But a little bit of a problem for the internet show.
Yeah, okay. What should we do then? Do you want to go and have a fiddle, or would you like to... Shall we get the show going?
Yes.
Explain what the show is.
Yeah.
And how it works, because some people will be new to it. Evening, if you know how this works, then you're off and running by going to www.experimentx.co.uk, and the challenge is for people who can get to the internet and probably listen to the show on their PC. They're already up, and all the challenges this evening, Alison, have been set by contributors to the show.
Oh, okay.
And I come to now regard people who are listening on the internet as being part of the show. They're kind of like unofficial researchers. Well, no, they're official researchers, just unpaid.
Yeah.
If you're listening on the wireless and you haven't got the internet, but you know all about it, what a tremendous database it is, and there's some research you'd like us to do for you in this hour, we've had quite a few people ringing up wanting their names traced.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of things. We had, what was the thing last week?
I still love the man who wanted to know if it was true that there was a cat factory in Shoreditch in 1941 because somebody in his family worked there. That was
and we found out there was.
Yeah.
What was the one last week I really liked? Oh, they wanted to know how much Judas betrayed Jesus for in today's money.
And what did it
that was a good one.
12 grand.
Yeah.
That was the internet research on that one. Okay, so if you're on the internet, if you go to experimentx.co.uk, that's the official website for this piece of radio. Reminder, if you're a younger listener and you don't own the PC perhaps, or you're not the person who pays the bill, please check with the parent, guardian or adult who does own that technology and pay those bills, and you can let them know, make sure they know what you're doing, and that you're in safe hands, because we're the BBC and I'm Tommy and Alison, and that's I think that should be good enough for most parents, hopefully.
And if you want to contact the show, you can either email tommy.boyd@bbc.co.uk, alison.ferns@bbc.co.uk, or you can text 07786 20 70 70.
Right, so
or of course you can phone 08459 570057.
Yeah, and we're happy to take calls during the internet hour. And if we manage to get you set up next door, mate, then we can email you, can't we?
Yes.
Which some people like to do. Shall I then just run through some of the challenge questions that we've got this evening? All set by people who have gone to the Shrine Forum. If you're on the PC and you want to join in conversations with other people who are listening to the show, talking about the show and the stuff that's being discovered, then these forum things are great. They run adjacent to the show. You know, sometimes you listen to the radio and you just want to turn around and say to somebody, what's going on here, or something. Well, that's the function that this forum performs, one of the functions that this forum performs. And again, if you go to www.experimentx.co.uk, you'll see a number of options down the menu, on the menu bar on the left of the homepage, and one of them is Boyd Message Board, and that will take you to the forum. And all of these questions have been set by people who've contributed to the forum already this evening before we got going. So here we go. Have a go at some of these. What's the average temperature inside an igloo?
Good question,
isn't it? Yeah. What's the best cure for a hangover?
Oh, I could do with that.
Are you all right?
Knowledge myself.
What's the most unusual food for sale on the internet which is pickled?
Oh, I bet you can get all sorts.
Yeah, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
In Helsinki, Finland, instead of handing out parking tickets, police usually do this. What?
Oh.
I don't know the answer to that one. What famous cop has the badge 2211?
Right. I've got a clue here.
I'm going to guess it's Jack Lord from Hawaii Five-0, but anyway. You tune to BBC Southern Counties Radio. It's the Internet Hour. We set a series of challenges for people who are enjoying the show coming out of their PC. It means that not all of the contributors to this part of the programme are based in the BBC Southern Counties Radio area, and we've got, particularly the folks in Kentucky, do a great job.
They do.
Yeah, but they're all over. What is the first product to have a barcode? Is a good one. Wearing white shirts is prohibited in which sport? For the life of me, I can't work that one out.
Which sport?
Yeah. A sport in which you can't wear a white shirt. You can't wear a white shirt. Have a crack. It's out there, in cyberspace. When the Titanic sank in 1912, it took more than 7 pounds... I don't know whether that's weight, I assume it's weight, 7 pounds weight, of this to the ocean bottom. What is it?
Yeah.
Gold?
Maybe.
I'm guessing. What is the second most recognised smell in the world after coffee? Which is the number one?
It is for me.
Yeah, I know. Every time we finish at 1 on a Saturday night, Alison and myself, we step out into the clear air of, well, reasonably clear air of Brighton at 1 a.m, and that's the first thing we notice, isn't it?
We're very good, though. We've never been tempted, have we? We've never been drawn in.
In the interest of precision, we've always been tempted.
Yes, been tempted, yes. Yeah, we've never given in to temptation.
Never succumbed, no. And then, appropriately, the next internet challenge this evening is, how much time would the average person need to spend walking per day to burn off as many carbohydrates as they take in? I've got a feeling the answer is something like 300 miles.
Yeah, I think, because it's something like, if you eat one Big Mac or something, you've got to walk for a week in order to get rid of it.
Is that what they say? The emails are coming in. Thank you for that. Keep them coming in. We'll get to some answers or ideas about these various challenges. It usually takes people 5 minutes to get cracking. Some people go for an easy one and get their shot in 5 minutes. Other people go for a hard one deliberately and don't hit us up until 10 to 10. This is a question which relates to a radio programme that I used to do elsewhere. It says, can I pleasure your wife?
Pardon?
I know. But I mention it.
Yeah, it's a poor veil over that one, I think.
What was the first ever electronic device?
First ever.
You see, I mean, the man invented electricity. I don't know whether it was it Voltaire? Well, Isaac Newton postulated electricity, didn't he? The key hanging from a kite, which was struck by lightning. So he did a paper postulating this remarkable force, electricity.
But the first device?
Yes. I wonder what it would have been.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out.
Well, possibly a machine for measuring electricity, like a voltameter. I don't know. 08459 570057 if you're a minicab driver and you're incensed because I called you a minicab driver, but because you have just actually reached your fallow patch in the evening and you'd like to set a question and have an argument, then by all means, give us a call. Or you can text 07786 207070.
You can email tommy.boyd@bbc.co.uk or alison.ferns@bbc.co.uk, and that number, if you do want to call the show, 08459 570057.
Now here's a good one. Has there ever been a paranormal or supernatural event that has been tested under scientific conditions and is on record as unexplainable? If so, what is it?
I'm sure it has.
Oh,
I don't know what.
My guess is no. Because, you know, we'd know all about it if it was a genuinely provable spooky event. Let's take our first call of the evening. Go to line 6. Hello, line 6.
Hello.
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 This is AJ.
AJ?
Here's one for your wizards.
Go on then.
Who was the first person to die and what age?
Good question.
Do you know the answer to that one? Or, no, of course you don't.
The first person to die and at what age?
Is that possible? I mean, when was you got to decide who was the first person? Was it Adam?
Adam, or was it Eve?
Or was it somebody who looked remarkably Neanderthal? I mean, are Neanderthal men persons? AJ?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you.
Oh, okay, alright, thanks for that. Okay, Internet, you've been, contributors, you've been called a wizard there by AJ. And this evening at 9:10, he sets the internet challenge. Who was the first person to die? Okay.
And at what age were they?
And at what age? That's very specific, isn't it?
Very. We like that. Hello, who's on line 1?
Hello, Alison. It's Tony, the taxi driver in Eastbourne again.
Hello, Tony. I met you today, didn't I? Was it a different Tony, the taxi driver?
No, different one.
Different one.
No.
There's a lot of you out there.
It is. I just thought I'd respond to Tommy's challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Got one for you, Tommy, on the sports basis.
Okay.
What's the lowest recorded gate of a Premiership match? One that isn't played behind closed doors?
Yeah. I'm just thinking, it's around in the middle of my mind, not at the back of my mind, but not at the front of my mind, annoyingly either. Did Wimbledon have a very poor gate one day when they were... No, that wasn't Premiership, was it?
No, that's what I'm saying, Premiership. I mean, there must be occasions whereby, due to weather conditions or whatever, there have been appalling gates. Yeah.
But sometimes don't fans boycott games as well?
You get that, that's what I was wondering. Yeah. What would you guess it would be, Tony, on a really cold, filthy night when it doesn't matter at all?
Well,
it's very unattractive.
If you've got a bottom of the division team and they're playing probably a team that's come up the previous season, you could be in the low thousands. Yeah, you'd think possibly 2,000 something, wouldn't you? Yeah. All right, mate, thanks. All right, cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so there's another internet challenge from Tony in Eastbourne. He wants to know what is the lowest ever Premiership gate. Has a can of Tennant's Super Lager ever been consumed indoors? This is a question set by somebody who roams the streets of Brighton with his eyes peeled, I suggest. And, of course, any proprietary brand of super strong lager could suffice. Yeah. On a yearly wage of £12,000, £1,000 paid into a bank current account monthly, what kind of return is the average high street bank making? Okay. I'm not sure I'm absolutely clear on what that challenge is asking for. Is it asking for if you put £1,000 in a bank once a month?
Yeah.
And that would be £12,000 at the end of the year. How much profit did the bank make on that?
Oh, I thought they were saying how much profit do you make on that?
On the interest.
So basically they're asking what is the average interest rate for a current account from a high street bank?
Either would do.
Yeah.
Either would do. Okay, thanks for that challenge. Another one that's been set by another of our internet listeners. Which footballer of any nationality has scored the most goals at a professional level of football? I do know that Pelé scored over 1,000 goals in his career, so I'm guessing it might be him, but I'll leave that one for the internet wizards. Who sent the first email, and who was it to? Did you know what the first radio...
You're looking like you know the answer to this one.
Well,
You're looking smug.
It tickles me that often these first pieces of communication are not terribly earth-shattering.
No.
You know what the first thing that apparently was said on the radio by Marconi was?
No.
He had an assistant, I think his name was Robert, and the first thing that was ever broadcast...
Something like this. Is it working?
It wasn't, no. So it was. Robert, could you just come in here for a moment?
Great.
Great show, isn't it?
No, groundbreaking.
Mind you, it was the first thing I said to Alison, could you come in? So there's a resonance. There's a resonance there. Somebody simply sent this in as an internet challenge, male nipples. Do we know what's meant by that? We do, don't we?
Yeah, they don't really have a function, do they? Why do you have them?
No.
There must be a reason why you have them. Okay, maybe not.
Shall we take a couple of emails because they've been pouring in, and the reason I couldn't read them before is because I didn't have the right window up, so I apologise for that. Vanessa has said, no, so this is a spam. She says, access to all the popular software you ever imagined for extremely low prices. Bog off, Vanessa. Here's a question, Tommy. Chest hair grows to a certain length, then stops. This is from Kevin Craner.
No, I didn't know. I've wondered about this.
Did you?
Obviously, being a woman, I don't suffer from chest hair, you'll be pleased to know. Well, I think if you're a woman and you've got chest hair, then you are suffering.
You don't realise how hard it is to be a man.
Yes. Please.
We do suffer. Go on.
But yeah, I wasn't sure whether it just kept growing and whether it was something you had to trim.
No. Nor does it get ugly, straggly like underarm hair. Chest hair, if you've got it, in most men, I don't know if there are exceptions to this, it knows how long it needs to be, and it stops. Kevin goes on, if you cut chest hair, shorter with a hair trimmer, it grows again to its designated length. How does it know it has been cut and has to start growing again? Now,
very good question.
Isn't that a brilliant question?
Yeah. How can it possibly know?
How can it know it's been cut and it has to grow another half an inch? Honestly, we can go to the moon and we can make a decent pizza now in Britain, but we do not know how chest hair knows that it grows to about an inch and a bit. And then stops. And if it gets cut, it just simply grows until it's that length again.
However, nostril hair in men grows more the older you get.
Yes, that's true.
So I understand.
And ear hair as well.
And ears.
Yes.
Apparently your ears will grow as you get older.
Yes.
That's why you see a lot of elderly men with big ears and hairy nostrils.
Yes.
Painting an attractive picture on the radio this Saturday evening.
We'll do a brief excursion into the why do elephants have big ears?
I don't know.
Because Noddy won't pay the ransom.
Oh.
So, it had to be done. It had to be done.
Actually, that reminds me. Should we do that one again as well? I like that last week where we had the challenge of the best joke.
The best, and it was a great
on the
joke.
internet.
So let's make that a running strand. Thread. For our army of internet listeners, what is the best joke that's going around on the internet at the moment that can be broadcast?
Yes, it has to be broadcastable.
God, yes. Daniel has emailed in, what was the first product to have a barcode? This is his question. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Alison. He says, the first product with a barcode was scanned out at a checkout counter. It was a 10-pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Chewing Gum. At first I thought this was a wind-up. This is Daniel and Mona in Louisville, Kentucky. Hi, guys. Great stuff as usual. But they have sent me the website address that verifies this.
Really?
And I'm tempted to go there. Not because I don't trust them, but because I just love this internet thing, that it is able to do this.
You can find out information like that.
Information that is, fascinating because it's so useless. Thank you so much for that, Daniel. I will double-check that. Vince Collier has emailed. Try this cure for baldness. That's another internet challenge. He says, boil a cup of mustard oil with 4 tablespoons of henna leaves, filter and bottle. Massage onto the bald patches regularly. Grind half lime seeds and half black pepper. Apply to bald patches regularly. Helpful home remedy to cure baldness. Scrub the bald area with onions till it becomes red. Follow up by applying honey over the patch. Rub on the scalp with 1 teaspoon oil in which raw mangoes have been preserved for over a year. Repeat treatment frequently. And he also has a website which verifies this, and it is www.indianchild.com baldness.
It sounds more like a Jamie Oliver recipe. Drizzle with a little olive oil.
It does, doesn't it? Yes. What famous cop has the badge 2211? It's Dirty Harry.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to Daniel for that. Well done, Daniel. Good spot. Few more internet challenges for people to be getting on with. Where do we get to? Male nipples. Another internet challenge from an internet listener. We know cheetahs are the fastest land animals, but what animal is the second fastest? That should be known, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd think. What were the first words ever spoken on a telephone? Maybe I've just done that, or I thought that was a radio broadcast. Now, here's a good one, and because this is going to make you think, Alison, and you and I will work on this, as will everybody tomorrow, unless they're with somebody tonight. Why do women blink nearly twice as much as men? Excellent internet challenge.
I didn't realise they did. I blink a lot, but that's because I wear contact lenses.
Okay.
So maybe that's why maybe more women wear contact lenses than men.
I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought so.
Oh, our eyes drier? Because you blink, don't you, to basically re-moisture your eyes. So maybe we've got drier eyes.
Here's my theory. You know that actors say, don't blink.
Yeah.
They practice not blinking, don't they? When Michael Caine gave that fantastic masterclass on acting, brilliant it was, one of the things he said was, you don't blink. Never blink. Ever. Unless you really choose to blink for an important reason, such as you've just realised something. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's tip to all actors is, don't blink. Especially when you're far gone. Okay. So I guess from that, it suggests insecurity.
Yeah.
Heroes in films have to be cocksure, don't they? And if you don't blink... Apparently, Jacques Chirac, when he explained to the French people that he was cross that they voted no, but he was going to go on anyway, apparently he didn't blink for about 13 minutes in the speech, because he was that
There's a bit of a power thing.
Yes.
I suppose it is, because if you are really annoyed at somebody, you try and stare them out, don't you?
Yeah, that's
what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I suppose as well, when people say, oh yeah, she was fluttering her eyelashes at him, it's quite a feminine thing, isn't it, to flutter your eyelashes, i.e. blink. So yeah, that's probably why.
Thank you for that. Jeff in St Leonard's has emailed, I need help in finding a copy of a learning drumming video. The one I'm after is Nico McBrien's Rhythm of the Beast.
Are you sure that's a drumming video? I'm not sure if I believe you. Rhythm of the Beast.
Can you or Alison help?
Under the counter job, that one.
You wouldn't really want to go into any shop and say, have you got Rhythm of the Beast?
I wouldn't. No.
It's a drumming video.
Yeah.
And I'm blinking. Do you know, a woman... I had an eye injury many years ago. I was working in a toy shop, and at the time, whilst it was healing, my eye used to flicker. So it looked as though I was winking. And a woman came in one afternoon. Do you know what she said? She said, young man, could you show me an action man? And so I said, certainly. I said it. I need help in finding a copy of a learning drumming video. Anybody on the internet help Jeff in St Leonard's and make his neighbour's life hell? Nico McBrien's Rhythm of the Beast, can you help? Off you go. And this one. The text of that first electronic missive, one of our internet challenges was what was the first email, consisted of something like QWERTY-OP, just a test. Sent by computer engineer Ray Tomlinson in 1971, the first email.
Oh, really? I thought it was a much more modern thing.
Me too. The email was simply a test message to himself. It was sent from one computer to another computer sitting right beside it in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Can you imagine the sense of achievement when that went through? Bing!
Yeah. You have mail.
Yeah.
But it travelled via a network of computers which was the precursor to the internet. Fantastic. Nice one. Thank you very much indeed for that. I believe that's the great Jason Turner with that one. It's the Internet Show on BBC Southern Counties Radio. Just while I check for a website, could you just position ourselves and remind new callers, listeners, how it works?
I will do. You're listening to BBC Southern Counties Radio. It's the Internet Show with Tommy Boyd and Alison Ferns. Basically, if you've got something you would like one of our many internet listeners to find out for you, then you can text 07786 20 70 70. You can email tommy.boyd@bbc.co.uk or alison.ferns@bbc.co.uk. Although saying that, I haven't actually got my computer or studio to work at the moment, so probably best not to do that. Or of course you can call 08459 570057, just like this person has done on line 1. Hello, who's there?
Hello there, Alison. You're sounding very, very chipper tonight.
Thank you.
Yes. You got a lovely laugh, I've got to say that.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
Yeah,
and
sorry, go on.
Have you got an answer for us, or do you want to set a challenge?
But I've got a challenge, and I'm sure that Tommy will know this, being such a knowledgeable person. And I did know the answer a long time ago, but I've completely forgotten about it. Are you wearing a zip, Alison, on your body, or Tommy?
A zip? You're flirting with me, aren't you?
No.
You started off saying you like my laugh. Now you're asking me what I'm wearing. I've been warned about men like you.
Well, you're right. He's very modern because he's flirting with me as well. So yes, I am wearing a zip.
Yes, I've got a zip as well.
Why?
All right. Okay. The chances are it says YKK on the tab.
Yeah.
Does it?
Why?
That's the name of the factory that makes them, isn't it?
Well, all zips. Every single zip in the whole
I don't know that every single zip has that on there, does it?
Well, do you have YKK on yours?
I'm trying to look. Wait a second.
I wish I could see this.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. Tommy, yours?
Yeah, mine does.
Are we all checking our flies tonight?
I think it does.
Can you do yours back up? Well, thank you very much,
when I pull my zip down, it's such a long way away.
Oh.
I need my binoculars.
Yeah.
Did I bring my binoculars in here? Hold on.
Where's he gone to?
He's actually gone to get some binoculars out of his case.
That's a long way down to the bottom of my...
He can't actually look at his own crotch, which will come as a great surprise to many people.
I suppose you got let off lightly. You could have dropped his trousers.
Oh, no, don't. He might just do that. Don't give him any ideas.
Is Tommy...
It does.
Is Tommy there?
Yes,
yeah, he's just found it.
Checking it. Yes, and you're right, it does, and that is a really, really good question. No, I don't know the answer.
The thing is, I did know a long time ago the answer to that, but I've completely forgotten.
Yes.
And I forgive you, Tommy, for calling us minicab drivers again, but there we go.
Hello, Tony. Why are you all called Tony?
Yeah.
I haven't met a minicab... Isn't your name Tony?
No, my name's Andy.
Well, I'll call you Tony, because it just makes life easier, doesn't it? For us all. Thank you, Andy. That's really good work, mate.
Cheers, then.
Really good. Really good.
I'm sure that it's because the factory that makes zips, or most zips, is called YKK, because I'm sure that the factory is just near where my uncles live, in Islington.
All the world zips?
I don't know, I'm sure. I don't know why I think it.
You could bump into a man in Mongolia who's just got his first pair of jeans, and his zip is made in a factory around the corner from your uncle. This isn't so unlikely. It has to be a patent
admit
thing.
it's a long shot, but
it's a patent. It has to be a patent thing. One would think.
Maybe. I've got a challenge as well for internet listeners, and this was something that came up in a conversation with you earlier on today.
Okay.
Why do cobblers, shoe repair places, also always cut keys? Because we saw that shop today, didn't we? And we couldn't quite work it out.
No.
They always go together, yet what is the connection? Keys?
Yes.
And shoe repairs.
How does that happen? What's the link? We speculated, didn't we, that possibly it's some upselling. So you come in to have a key cut, and the chap in the brown coat leans over and looks at your shoes and says, they're not going to last much longer, are they?
Or you go in to have your shoes resoled, and he says, well, do you have any...
All right for keys?
Any keys need cutting, mate?
Oh, yeah. And you want keys with that?
There's got to be a reason, though. There has to be a reason.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah, why shoe repairs also cut keys.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason.
It is intriguing, isn't it? 08459 570057. You might not need the PC to have a pop at that one, in which case you can just give us a straight call. Or if you want to set a challenge, that is fantastic as well. Christopher Smith has emailed Ali. He says, Tommy and Alison, I'm on the BBC Southern Counties website, searching for a link to the message board you speak of. Am I being really dumb? Because I can't see the damn thing anywhere. Could you guide me in the right direction? I want to join in with you guys. Yeah, sorry, Chris, I didn't explain myself very well. You can't go to the forum where people talk about the show whilst it's going on via the Southern Counties website just yet. So you need to open another portal and go to www.experimentx.co.uk. experimentx.co.uk, and you'll see a menu on the left, and you want message board there. Can you let me know, Christopher, if you manage to pull that off, just so that we can, so that we know that we're
it's working.
Yeah, that we're giving out the right advice, basically.
Hello, who's there?
Hi, it's Tony again, the cab driver.
Hello, Tony.
Hello, I've actually got an answer for you.
Oh, go on.
With regard to the cobblers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, an uncle of mine used to be a cobbler. And quite simply, when they used to polish up the shoes after they'd done any work to them, they used to have like a buffing wheel, which was basically a small motor with a buffing end on it to polish them up. Obviously, it's a great deal quicker to use the machine than it is to hand polish the shoes, and you get a better finish. Well, simply by adding to the other end of the spigot a cutting tool, they doubled the use of the machine that they had.
I see.
Okay.
And hence you got people cutting keys on the same machine that they were using for buffing up the shoes.
It makes sense.
That's a very good answer, Tony. Thank you for that. You've cleared that one up. Appreciate it, mate.
No problem.
That's
Cheers. Bye-bye.
No, that's top-notch, isn't it?
That is good.
Thank you, Tony. Wrigley's Gum was the first item to have a barcode. We're getting lots of good stuff on this. This is the All-Day Poet, emailing from Guildford. June 1974, the first UPC scanner was installed at a Marsh's supermarket in Troy, Ohio. The first product to have a barcode included was a packet of Wrigley's Gum. Isn't that great?
Yep.
And Brian Garr has emailed some stuff about the first ever email. Much like the first telegraph or phone call, the first email marked an historic moment in the evolution of communication. Unfortunately, the message itself was less than earth-shattering. The text of that first electronic missive consisted of, quote, something like QWERTY op, sent by computer engineer Ray Tomlinson in 1971, a message to himself. You see, when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, he'd been given that line, hadn't he? Because otherwise he might just have gone, oof, there we go. And they gave him that line about small step for man, giant leap for mankind, just to make it a bit more portentous.
Yeah.
And Does it make any difference? Not a lot. I heard the first ever public radio broadcast. It's archived, it's BBC, and it's nonsense.
What's it about?
I might see if I can find it on the internet and play it to you. It's simply a voice test, and it goes like this, over and over and over. This upper-class, slightly eccentric voice goes, "Hello, CQ, this is Emma Tock calling. Riddle testing. Hello, CQ, this is Emma Tock calling. Riddle testing.
How odd.
Well, wouldn't you twiddle off and look for some music?
Not going to hold your attention for too long, is it?
Or write in and complain.
No, my very first job on radio was doing a test transmission for this new digital station that had opened up in Edmonton, North London, which is rough as a what's it. Anyway, and I was doing, and this is the really bad, I was doing the graveyard shift of the test transmission. Okay, so I would work from 1 o'clock in the morning through till 6, and all I ever got to say was Town FM, broadcasting on digital 439. Live? Town FM, broadcasting on digital 439.
That must be the worst job in broadcasting.
Yeah, I got to play some music.
Yeah.
But every other song I'd have to say at least 2 times. Town FM. It was a very bad job.
I used to do the announcements at Brighton Dolphinarium, and I used to really get bored with the same announcements which I did over and over again all day long, which went, it started with, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your announcer speaking." Now, I've never got to say to the bloke who ran the place, "You don't need to say that."
Obvious, mate.
Yeah, because it's not going to be one of the dolphins, is it?
Now, that would have been good.
If you would like to make your way to the Dolphinarium immediately, the next dolphin show is about to commence. But you know what it's like when you're saying something over and over again, it loses its meaning. And sometimes I would be doing it, and it would be meaningless to me. I was just making the noises. I knew what each of the connected noises sounded like, but the meaning of it
was lost.
Absolutely nothing. And one other thing that happened was we used to get a lot of French students in, and the French students used to like to throw crisps to the dolphins. So, just so that in case anybody's in any doubt whether Belgians have a sense of humour, the chief dolphin trainer was a Belgian and he could speak French. So I asked him, what's "please do not feed the dolphins" in French? And he wrote it down for me, and he wrote down, "Ne mange pas le dauphin, s'il vous plaît." So for weeks I was doing this, and all these French students were looking up at me and laughing, and that's because what I was saying was, please don't eat the dolphins. So that's cute. You'd do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Sense of humour. It's the Internet Hour on BBC Southern Counties Radio on a Saturday night from 9 until 10. We just play games with the Internet. It gives people who are listening on the Internet a chance to have a particular type of fun, which is using this fantastic database to answer challenges and questions and bits of research that are set for them by either other internet users or people who've called the show. It's simple as that.
And the great thing is that if you don't have the internet, you can still be involved, because if there's something that you've always wondered about, something you've always wanted to know the answer to, now's your chance, and then our team of internet listeners will get on there and research it for you. So you can text any challenges or any answers to any of the challenges that have already been set to 07786 20 70 70, or you can telephone 08459 570057, or email tommy.boyd@bbc.co.uk.
Nick Fudge has emailed in an excellent joke. One of our challenges is what's the funniest joke that's going around at the moment on the internet that you can broadcast, and it is a good joke, but I can't really retell it in a politically correct way, which would mean to change the fact that it's a particular nationality into two chaps who are not very bright.
Right.
I don't think you can do that sort of Irishman joke, basically. So it's quite a good joke, and I know that there's no such thing as an Irish person. You're half Irish, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't get offended by Irish jokes.
No, in fact, they're my favourite.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know how much of the Irish there would be in me, but enough to be able to say we're not bothered. But, Nick, thank you for that, but I think just in the interest of erring on the side of caution, really.
Unlike you. Has the sun gone to your head today, or what?
Well, no, it's just that it's just that it's 2005.
Yeah.
And I feel like I prefer the future rather than the past. And when I was a stand-up comic, I used to get pulled to one side from time to time by the management and told that my jokes weren't ist enough. That I had to do more ist jokes. Racist, sexist, all sorts. And it was, I was uncomfortable doing it. Because I preferred just gentle humour. But they said, no, if you want to get the real laugh, it's got to be a harsh joke. It was 1970-something. Nico McBrien, Jeff in St Leonard's, has said he's the guy who wants us to find this Rhythm of the Beast drumming tuition catalogue or whatever it is, manual.
Video.
Video, thank you. Nico McBrien is the drummer of Iron Maiden.
Oh, okay.
Mark Doyle wants to know, why is toilet paper 2-ply? Why not just make it 1-ply and thicker? Now again, that is a good question.
Well, it's not a subject I like to talk about because I don't really like to discuss that side of life, but...
Why not?
Well, no. I don't really.
You don't mind me doing paddy jokes, but you don't want to talk about toilet paper. You're all mixed up. You're upside down, woman.
I don't want to talk about toilet paper, but I think I might know the reason why it's 2-ply. It's not a particularly nice thing to explain, but if it wasn't 2-ply... But it could be equally absorbent if it was 1-ply. I don't know if it would, though.
But the gap between the 2 plies doesn't actually prevent seepage.
I knew you were going to use a word that was going to make me cringe, and you've done it. Seepage. Can we move on? Please.
Right. Brian Garr answering the question, what is the second fastest animal on Earth after the cheetah? Another internet challenge. He says the pronghorn. Are you alright with that?
What's a pronghorn?
Let's hope it's some kind of antelope. Or part of an antelope.
What is a pronghorn and where can I buy one?
Yes. Where can I back one? I tell you, that what's its name in the big race at Sandown that I told you about this morning, he's still running.
Yeah, he placed third, yeah. I tell you what though, the 5:20 I think it was, 101 shot.
That always happens.
Really?
If you want an outsider, first or last race, who won it?
I can't remember. Kalini, I think it was called, something like that. Very common.
The pronghorn is the second fastest land animal in the world, almost as fast as the cheetah. It is the fastest in the Western Hemisphere. In 1915, after the American pronghorn was almost hunted to extinction, there were only 15,000 animals. Today there are less than 700,000, but some pronghorn are still on the brink of extinction. Well, I thought going up from 15,000 to 700,000 shows that these pronghorns...
They're making a comeback.
Yes. They're making use of their pronghorns or whatever. I don't know. But thanks for that, Brian. That's very good work.
We should start a campaign. Save the pronghorn.
Oh, I don't care. I don't understand why a species is more important than an individual animal.
No.
An individual dog means as much to me as an entire species of grasshopper. If there's one grasshopper left, right, and that would mean the end of the species, why is that a more important death than a dog? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I don't care. Species come and go. I'm sure new species are arriving, and they don't get heralded. There's no piece in the paper that says there's a new type of polar bear or amoeba. Vince Collier has come back on the second most recognised smell in the world. He says this, according to website Magic 104, isn't that a radio station?
I think so.
How odd. That they should... Eccentric Trivia. He's been to that one, and he says that officially the second most recognised smell in the world is peanut butter.
Oh. I was thinking petrol.
When you say recognised, maybe we've got our wires crossed here. The second most recognised smell. Well, we don't know the answer.
No.
But that's a good pop. Daniel says the drumming question, you can find the video of the Rhythm of the Beast for $19.95 on a website. This is Daniel in Louisville, Kentucky. Great one. It's a very long website address, and one thing we haven't cracked on the internet show is giving out entire website addresses. There must be a better way of doing it. The key word to put in, do a Google search. Jeff, was it in Eastbourne? You want educational and lock 2. Yeah. Educational and small l, small o, small c, and then the numeral 2. Thanks for that, Daniel. Another joke from Nicholas Fudge. Shall I read it whilst you remind us who we are?
Yes.
Oh, and explain what's happening at 10 o'clock. Because I don't understand this.
Oh, right. At 10 o'clock, we're going to lose our Surrey listeners for an hour because Nigel Campbell has been hosting these very special Wisley hour-long shows. Basically, he's been at Wisley for the past few days. He's been there again tonight. He's got some great interviews of all of the performers. The Drifters, I think, are performing tonight, so we'll have interviews from them. He'll also have all travel information if you are actually at Wisley and trying to get out of Wisley, which I know when I tried it last year, a little bit of travel info would be quite handy because it can get quite congested around there. So he's going to have all of that for all our Surrey listeners listening on the Surrey transmitter, 10 until 11, and then it will come back to Tommy Boyd and Alison Ferns, 11 through till 1.
A reminder, 08459570057. You can call during the Internet Hour 9 till 10 with any piece of research, data, challenge, question you want answered. We've got an army of Internet listeners who are happy to do the work for you for free. Nicholas Fudge has emailed in another joke. Nick, again, this one just fails to get over the bar, I think, for acceptability because... Well, I can't even hint at why, but it has to do with,
Well, don't hint then.
Well, I won't. No, I can't even... But, Nick, it's a nice try. Thanks for having a go. But, no, can't read that one out either. The average carbohydrate... This is Spurious Hasselbank. The average carbohydrate intake in Western countries is 200 to 300 grams per day, or approximately 45% of the total energy intake.
Right.
Okay? He then goes on, or she then goes on, running or... It's modern of me, wasn't it? Running or walking a mile burns off approximately 100 calories. Therefore, you would need to walk an average of 2.5 miles a day to burn off all the carbohydrate you take in. The average walking speed is 1 mile per 20 minutes. The answer to the question, it would require 50 minutes of walking each day from Spurious. And I'll tell you what Spurious has done. There's a website for each of those pieces of information. The first one, for example, is the Heart Foundation. The second piece of information, walking a mile burns off 100 calories. That's from www.healthyhearts.com. And the last bit is from www.DFES, a government Department of Health and Energy?
I think so.
Further Education.
Further Education.
Owen Pinnell has emailed. The lowest ever attendance for a Premiership game. This was a question set by a taxi driver.
Andy. Was it Andy? Or was this Tony?
Andy. Thank you. The lowest ever attendance at a Premiership game, 3,000 for Wimbledon versus Leeds at Selhurst Park. The website he's been to doesn't give an exact figure. The reason men have nipples is because you get your nipples in your first few months when you're a fetus, back when you were anatomically indistinguishable from a girl. At about 14 weeks, hormones kick in and cause you to develop the male anatomy, if that is to be your destiny. The nipples stayed, though. It would be too much trouble to suppress them or lose them, besides they don't do you any harm.
No.
But it's odd, isn't it, having that piece of apparatus which is quite redundant in the male, but we're allowed to show it in public.
It's not an erogenous zone for a man, though.
Well, I've heard that it could be, but I'm afraid it has never worked for me. There have been attempts.
I love that word, erogenous.
It's a beautiful
Isn't
word.
it a great word?
Almost does what it sounds like.
Doesn't it? It's a good word.
Like gargle and, it almost does, erogenous. Have you ever thought about reading the travel in an even sexier voice? Is it possible to make the travel sexy?
Oh yeah, you could do.
Would you do it?
It's appropriate for that time of the morning.
Would you do it after 10 o'clock?
I
will do, so that we can get a feel for it. You need to get some authentic travel information, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, we did toy with the idea of going down the route of topless travel once here at Southern Counties Radio. That was an idea mooted by some of our listeners.
It would work. What would be wrong with that?
Exactly, because, no one would actually see anything.
Would all our travel people
not sure about the
go
webcam.
along with it?
Probably not.
How many yays and nays were there on that one?
We didn't take a vote.
Were you a yay?
Well, no. I hadn't really considered it as a serious thought. Look at you. You are actually considering this as a serious idea.
Obviously.
Topless travel.
Obviously. I remember when Howard Stern was on the David Letterman show, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and Howard Stern he's an American radio broadcaster who likes to shock jock people, and David Letterman said to him, because he always has nude women in the studio.
Yes.
And David Letterman said to him, Howard, did you have women in the studio for St. Patrick's Day? And he went, yes, I did, David. He said, did you do anything special with them? He said, I painted their titties green. David Letterman said, atta boy! We're not adventurous enough in this country, are we?
No.
He probably didn't.
No.
But the very thought that he might have been doing that was just sufficiently intriguing for, his show to rate its backside off. Okay, thank you for that, Owen Pinnell. He also adds, Owen, could you tell your listeners that the message board can now be accessed via www.boydboard.tk. Didn't know there was a suffix TK. So you live and learn, don't you? Very nice. Mona has come in on the challenge, and this is Mona in Kentucky. Hey, Mona. Regarding the listeners' questions about the first person who ever died, I knew it wasn't Adam or Eve, since their children were Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel. Website text, Cain's pride was hurt. He lost control of his temper with terrible results. Abel was the first person who had ever died. So there you are, according to the Bible.
Yeah.
Chap called Abel. And when Cain saw that he did not get up or move, Cain became very afraid and tried to hide from God. But
tricky one, hiding from him.
Hiding from God is very tricky. I wonder where
hide and seek with God is not going to work. It's not a good way to pass the time.
It's not me behind this rock. No.
I can see you.
No, I'm not here. It's not me. It's a rock. It's a tree.
What would be a good game to play with God?
Good game to play with God? That's a very good question. We'll do that after 10 o'clock, but maybe there are games you can play with God. It'd be a good board game, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Wouldn't it?
It would be.
I suppose in a sense an Ouija board.
Good idea.
An Ouija board, which is a very dangerous thing to dabble in, and I'm being very responsible.
You are being very responsible.
I think it was meeting all those listeners who wanted to kill me at the Arding
Yes, that would do it.
Yes. One man wanted to know where to buy the rotten eggs.
Yes. And I tell you what, if I heard this phrase once, I heard it 1,000 times. I don't know how you put up with that, man.
Yeah.
But you all feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
It was great, I lapped it up.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did.
And then what I really liked was when that guy started accusing you of saying something that we both have no recollection of you ever saying, but I decided to side with him.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
That tickled me. I liked that.
Enjoyed that. You're really getting into this kind of nonsense, aren't you? Confirmation that the second most recognised smell on Earth is peanut butter, according to the internet.
Any cures for hangovers yet?
No.
No one's come up with that.
Here's this is Mick, who's given us the information on why it is that YKK is stamped on every single zipper on planet Earth.
Go on then.
This is great, and this is what the internet is so fantastic for, right? Because this doesn't matter in the slightest, but once you know you don't know, you want to know, don't you? Right. YKK was founded in Japan as a zipper manufacturing company in 1934 by Tadao Yoshida. In the early years, Mr. Yoshida's company carried his name, and it was Yoshida Kogyo Kabushiki Kaisha, or YKK for short. Hold on. This is good. With 12 of the most modern plants in the world there, the Macon operation represents the largest zipper production centre in the entire world.
So I was right.
Yes, but it's not round the corner from your uncle.
Well, that's my next challenge that I'm going to set to you.
Okay.
Is there a YKK factory in Islington? Or I don't know if that would fall under Islington or Clerkenwell, but I'm sure somebody can find out.
That neck of the woods, anyway. Eel pie, sort of neck of the woods. Ile de Chien.
Yeah.
Okay. And as such, the brand name, Mick goes on, YKK is stamped on the pull tab of most of the zippers. Some of the zippers, though, carry the brand name of the end-use product, such as, for example, Levi's. YKK signifies good quality and safety. And they can be unsafe zips.
Very.
You don't need to worry about it,
no.
We do.
Yes.
You with me?
It's a male thing.
Understood. Adrian Warman has emailed hummingbird flower mites.
What?
I'm not quite
talking in code?
Second fastest animal. Got it.
Oh.
In the 5 seconds before the hummingbird flies off to another flower, some of the mites scramble aboard its bill and dash for the shelter of a nostril. The mites are only 0.5 millimetres long and can move at the rate of 12 body lengths per second. So they travel 3 centimetres in 5 seconds. Interestingly, a cheetah, moving at a maximum speed of about 100 kilometres per hour, is also doing about 12 body lengths per second. So this is the fastest animal on Earth in relation to its own body size. The hummingbird mite. I'm not going to produce that in a conversation.
No, I don't think it's something you'd really want to bring up at a dinner party. I don't know, maybe.
My point is, once you know it, you can't unknow that.
Yeah. It's like that 10cc thing you told me. And you told me something else today.
And you told me you'd never forget it, and you never.
What was it?
Not an aid memoir, was it? Whatever it was. Paul Dixon has emailed the Internet Hour. He says the lowest attendance at a Premiership match, he's got the exact figure, was 3,039 for Wimbledon versus Everton on January the 26th, 1993. And he said the sites below verify this. There are several of them. bbc.co.uk sport is one, and another one for the game, numeral 4. So he's cross-referenced it, and it's rock solid, and that's brilliant.
I know what it was.
Yeah.
The origins of the phrase, they've got you over a barrel.
Oh, you don't want it. Yes, thank you. We won't go there. An old nautical activity.
Hello. Who's on line 1?
Hello, it's Andy Cabby here again.
Hello, Andy.
Thanks for answering that YKK question.
Cool.
That certainly put me out of my misery. Now, is this Japanese guy the one I have to sue now, then?
Why, what have you done?
Well, you know.
Have you got...
Oh, you haven't. Losing the signal there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Andy, sorry, your signal's gone funny, mate. But call back by all means. And if it's after 10 o'clock, the call can be as strange as you like. But at the moment, we're focused in on the Internet Hour, and we're using our army of Internet listeners to hunt down various bits of information and challenges that have been set by listeners, both to the regular Steam Wireless and also on your PC.
Yeah, and just to remind people that at 10 o'clock this evening, Surrey listeners listening on the Surrey transmitter will be taken away from Tommy and myself and be given over to Nigel Campbell, where they can hear great interviews from today's events at Wisley at the music festival there. He's got great interviews, he's got great travel information. I think he's been interviewing some of the guests at Wisley, some of the visitors. So do try and tune into that if you are in Surrey. That's going to be through till 10 till 11, and then you'll be back with Tommy and me up until 1.
The wonderful Jason, who looks after the Shrine and a lot of the websites and internet activity that goes into this show, has found this joke, and I think we can broadcast this one. A man visits the doctor with bad news, and he says, "I know my time is soon, how long have I got?" And the doctor says, "Well, 10, and he says, 10 what? Years? Months? Weeks? Days? What? And the doctor goes, 5, 4. That's right, isn't it?
That's good.
Now, there was an internet challenge set earlier, which Brian Garr has had a crack at, and that is what the temperature is like inside an igloo. He says, in winter, from December until April, in the close proximity to Hotel Katschlautananen, is the famous igloo village, and in the igloo village there are 20 snow igloos for sleeping and an ice gallery with a bar made of ice.
That sounds cool. I'd like to go there.
Cool.
Cool. Very cool.
And if I get down to the nitty-gritty of this, besides warm, you get a sleeping bag, obviously. They provide you... I see what this is. Sorry, Brian, I didn't grasp this completely. He has emailed me the text of, the selling document for this holiday. They provide woolen socks and hood. The temperature inside the snow igloo always stays between -3 centigrade and -6 centigrade. And then they add as part of the selling document, so you will never feel cold.
Oh, they kidding.
Okay. That's a promise. The snow igloos are for 1 to 5 persons. That's brilliant, Brian. Thank you very much.
Does it tell how much they cost?
Probably. Excuse me a second. In fact, no. No, we haven't got the prices for a week in an igloo. Where are you going this year?
It'd be different, wouldn't it?
Well, yes. I'm going to stay in an igloo. Oh, lovely. What? Christopher Smith has emailed about jokes. He said, a while ago, Tommy, you told people that your favourite joke was... Oh, no, I can't read that one out. Or can I?
Well, you've obviously read it out before, if you heard you tell people.
But I got into trouble then.
Oh, well then don't.
No, I feel as though...
Leave it.
It's a very, very good joke. Maybe we can post these somewhere where people not of a nervous disposition, and most of the people who complain about this show actually probably haven't got the internet, or don't like the internet, or have written already to somebody complaining about the internet even though they don't have one. But Christopher Smith, that is a great joke, and I'll tell it to Alison later on when we're listening to a trailer or something. Thank you for that, mate. Now, Chris Lynn says, I want to ask Alison a question.
Yes.
Did you work on a previous radio show on another radio station whose name is not unlike Southern Counties Radio before you worked at Southern Counties Radio? I'm not sure if it's your name, but I definitely have heard your voice somewhere else.
Yes, I did, Chris.
Very good. Very good. Chris, thank you. Timothy Finton Langner has emailed, Tommy and Alison, I missed the first 10 minutes of your show, so I hope this hasn't been answered. But here's what I found out on Bob's Your Uncle. It's a question that is on Experiment X website, but I haven't read out on air, so he's doing his work. You know the phrase Bob's Your Uncle?
Yes.
Have you heard it?
Well, you always say it, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
That's the phrase my granddad used to use, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. He says, back in 1887, the British Prime Minister Robert Cecil, now Lord Salisbury, made Arthur Balfour Chief Secretary for Ireland. Lord Salisbury was better known to Arthur Balfour as Uncle Bob, and it was seen as an act of blatant favouritism, and Bob's your uncle, you can see that, became a popular sarcastic comment applied to any situation where the outcome was influenced by favouritism. That's good.
Yeah.
That's great work, Timothy, thank you. Excellent. And one that me and my friends want answered, and I don't believe there is an answer to this, is why do northern people go to the foot of their stairs? Because they're surprised about something. Have you heard the phrase?
No.
Hey, I'll go to the foot of our stairs.
Oh, yes. Heard that.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. Okay, it's not, you know, you don't hear it every day, and certainly not round Reigate. I'll go to the foot of our stairs. What? Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Not really.
Oh, look. Another enormous cheque from Daddy. I'll go to the foot of one of our stairways. It wouldn't work. But I'd like to know if anybody knows if it's possible to even have a tilt at that one. Let's see whether we can just wrap up the incoming emails before we call a halt to the Internet Hour this weekend. Sorry, listeners will go their separate ways. We'll look forward to your company again at 11. Stephen Levy says, is the show live tonight or is it a repeat?
Thank you very much. It is live.
Vince Collier on when did the last dodo die? The dodo was first sighted in the Indian Ocean island of Mauritius around 1600. The last confirmed sighting was in 1662. Statisticians say the bird probably survived 3 decades longer. Thank you for that. Thanks to everybody who sent emails in that we don't have time for this week. We need to find a way of posting them so everybody can read these emails. Alvaro says, last week on your show, you talked about how people change place names with no respect for the native way the locals use. And Bill Bryson, in his book, Mother Tongue, writes about the same thing. The names of certain countries, he says, are, for example, the real name of Greece, as pronounced by the Greek people, is Elinki Demokratia. See? It's only when they talk to the English people, speaking people, they say it's Greece. Finland is Suomen Tasavalta. Japan is Nihon. We used to say Nippon, didn't we? South Korea is good. It's Hankook. Sounds like an extra, doesn't Han in a Bruce Lee movie. China is far too long for me to pronounce, as is Sweden. Now this will bring Kirsten into the mix. Konungariket Sverige is what Sweden is to Swedish people.
So, in the same way then, is England known by a different name for people in other parts of the world?
We'll pick up the baton with the Internet Hour at the same time, 9 o'clock. Next Saturday. This is BBC Southern Counties.
Tommy Boyd.